Record drought leaving the state parched for years. A rare tornado lashing downtown Atlanta. An epic flood the very next year.
Current's real strong.
North Georgia has seen more than its fair share of wild weather.
The water line, the pictures we have, we were a field across the way. The water was up to right where those shingles meet there. It's our rear deck, which is level with the second floor.
Jake and Heather Lewis are weary of Mother Nature's extremes.
Just emotionally and physically wiped because the last 4 months it's been a long, long road.
Early in the morning of September 21st, rising floodwaters from Sweetwater Creek took away nearly everything in their Austell neighborhood.
We have containers of pictures that we could probably still salvage. We just don't want to open that container back up.
Those are things I try not to think about because it upsets me.
The foyer of their home once sat under murky water. Today it's almost like new. A new fence surrounds their once flooded yard. Still, the fear is something that hasn't quite gone away.
And then every night, my son asked me, is it going to rain tonight? So you go to bed going, and then I don't sleep when it rains.
There's a tornado right there, it's going over it.
In hopes of one day better preparing people for weather extremes, researchers at the University of Georgia have been studying the connection between fall and winter rain and spring storms. Their most surprising findings came in years without heavy rain.
What we found was quite interesting in that in all of the years from about the 1951 up to around 2007, during the drought years in the previous fall and winter, there was a noticeable decline in the number of tornado days the following spring.
Half as many, in fact.
And that really was interesting and exciting, and we really moved on from there with other questions, actually.
One of those questions, why drought seems to offer some protection from severe weather.
We think that it may be related to something called soil moisture memory, which is a really fancy way of saying that the land talks to the atmosphere, and during dry or drought conditions, the atmosphere may not be primed enough to support thunderstorms in the spring.
Dr. Marshall Shepard's research was inspired by the rare downtown Atlanta tornado in March of 2008 during a drought year. But even that year produced fewer than normal tornado days. So what about years like this one? As families in this Austell neighborhood like the Lewises know, drought is not the problem this year. In fact, just a few months ago, this whole area was underwater. So since drought is not an indication of what to expect this spring, forecasters are going to have to find their clues elsewhere.
Now this year we actually expect it to be a little bit more rambunctious than normal.
David Stooksbury, Georgia's state climatologist, says those clues this year will come from El Nino. El Nino affects global weather patterns and the frequency of storms here in the south.
And this will heighten the probability of severe weather, including severe thunderstorms and tornadoes for the entire southeast. Over the next 30 to 60 days, I can expect it will continue to be relatively wet across the southeast.
Predictions that make the Lewises uneasy with work still to be done.
You never know, and if you're sleeping, and I don't sleep as well at night if I know it's raining. I'll wake up throughout the night, especially if I hear it start beating harder and harder, I'm up.